Okay, so welcome back to another video of PPS. So in this video, before as you people know, we are already done with Unit 1 and Unit 2, all the concepts. Fine. So now we have to start with Unit 3, that is functions, and according to Art 18 regulations or Art 19, it is still Unit 2. Both are the same. But the thing is, before I start into Unit 3, that is functions is a very new topic. It's a whole new level. We need to know some of the basic programs that will be used in functions. All the programs starting from Unit 1 till the end, till today, whatever we have done will become just a small parts of functions. So this video will contain at least 10 to 15 programs that we have done in classrooms with practical demonstration explanation, so that if you people understand the logic of what I'm doing right now, starting from the basic programs to one of the most complicated programs, then we can survive in Unit 3 and Unit 4. Okay, so let's start. And on that note, first let me save my file as a demo for myself. Yeah. Okay, let's start. So the first program, starting with the basics, let's write the first program as to perform all the arithmetic operators. Okay, C program to perform all the arithmetic operators without using switch or something. Just for that, you need to have two numbers, int A and B, where the user will enter his inputs, right? Enter the inputs slash n, the two numbers that we want to perform arithmetic operators, scanf, scanf, percentage d. If you people have already seen my class 1 to class 20 videos, this is just a piece of cake for you, that what I'm trying to write. If in case you haven't seen them, please go back and see. See, there are 5 arithmetic operators possible: sum, subtraction, division, multiplication, and modulo. Modulo is nothing but the remainder. So let's print one by one. Sum is equal to percentage d slash n, and we also know sum is a plus b. That's it. This is how you perform sum. I'll just copy paste this line so that I don't have to paste it again and again. Sum, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo. Okay, just give me a sec. I think, yeah, it is intended. So sum is done. So now let's do for subtraction. This is difference. Let's do for multiplication. Let's do for division. Let's do for modulo. I want to show you one small thing that happens here. Just see here. This is very important because I want you people to understand. If I give the inputs as 5 and 2, 5 as my first number, 2 as my second number, you can see, oh sorry, I didn't change the operators. I'll just change them quickly. Minus, multiplication, next one is division, and the last one is modulo, which is percentage. The reason why I'm starting this program is very important. See here, if I give the inputs as 5 and 2, you can see 5 plus 2 is 7, which is perfectly the right answer. 5 minus 2 is 3, which is also perfect. 5 2s are 10. But and 5 divided by 2, the remainder is 1. That is also correct. But can you see division? 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, whereas we are getting the answer as 2. This is because integer can never hold a decimal number. When we are performing an operation between two integers, the answer will be an integer. To overcome this, there are two ways. Either you can go with explicit data type conversion. You just have to have a variable called as float c, and you have to perform an operation here. C is equal to a by b. Then you have to print c here in the form of percentage of. Just print c. This is called as implicit data type conversion, where the compiler will do the change. Now you can, if you see 5 and 2, we are sorry. I think, yeah, sorry, my bad. We can't do this. You have to come here. You have to come here. You have to write a by b, and you have to write float here. This is explicit data type conversion. So, yeah, you just have to perform the operation. And specify the data type that you want to print. And if you run this, now you can see the answer for 5 and 2. You will get it as 2.5, right? Can you see this? This is called as explicit data conversion, which is a very important topic, guys. Because if I remove this type conversion, if you have seen my previous videos, it's already mentioned. If you remove this type conversion, we will get the answer in an integer. What is this? One second. Compile again. Sorry, my bad. My compiler has some problem, I guess. Yeah. Where is it? Oh, sorry. It is an integer. So if you see here, 5 and 2, we get the answer as 2, which is wrong. So we have to make sure the answer that you represent is in the perfect data type. Okay, it should be in a perfect data type. This is the first thing. So the most expected question from this unit is write a C program to perform all the arithmetic operators or perform all the logical operators, relational operators, bitwise operators, all the operators. Okay, you have to do it in the same way. You have to just do it in the same way. This is the smallest program. All you need to do is study all the operators, study all the operators and know how to perform the actions. One important question from this unit is conditional operator, which I want to demonstrate from unit 1. That is conditional operator. The program is find the greatest of two numbers using conditional operators. Find the greatest of two numbers using conditional operator. Same, enter the two numbers, you have the inputs. So the conditional operator syntax is first you write the condition, okay, then put a question mark. If true, if the condition is true, this particular segment will be executed, this particular segment. If the condition is false, this particular segment will be executed, and a semicolon. Okay, this is the syntax for conditional operator. Now see, I'm just writing in the condition a greater than b, that is two numbers, a greater than b. Is it true? Question mark. If true, printf a is greater than slash n. You should not put semicolon and colon here. This is one more mistake students do. You just have to put colon. There is no semicolon in the syntax. And if not, printf b is greater, greater slash n, and here you have to end with semicolon. See the syntax. You should not put semicolon here. I'll run this to show. See, you are getting an error. If you remove this, there is no error. Please don't make such stupid mistakes that I have written printf, so I have to put a semicolon. No, semicolon is not put in front of printf. Semicolon is put to show the end of the line. Okay, now let's come here. It's asking me to enter two numbers, 5 and 2. You can see a is greater because a is my value 5. And if I give another input, let's say 2 and 5, 2 and 5, now we are printing b is greater. This is the conditional operator, guys. This is a very, very important conditional operator. And using this conditional operator, you will be given a program to write a program. This simple syntax, condition, question mark, if true, colon, if false. This question will fetch you 5 marks. This question will fetch you 5 marks. These 4 lines will fetch you 5 marks. And one more important program that can be asked using conditional operator is find if the given year is leap year or not. This is also another important problem. First of all, before you people start programming, I want you to know two conditions. First condition is a leap year can be divisible by 4. A leap year can be divisible by 4. Okay, leap year can be divisible by 4, and at the same time, if it is divisible by 4, it should not be divisible by 100. Please have this condition in mind. This is first condition. If the given year is divisible by 4, then it should not be divisible by 100. If this condition fails, we have a second condition, that is the given year, if it is divisible by 400, okay, if it is divisible by 400, it is also a leap year. The first condition, it should be divisible by 4 and not by 100, or the second condition is it should be divisible by 400. Now see how I'll write this program. Same, come here. I'm taking the input of the year in the letter A. Okay, enter the year. I'm just changing the program here itself. I don't want to waste my computer memory by creating new variables every time. Enter the year, right? Just a second. Okay, enter the year. I got my year A. As I told, we have 4 conditions. See this. Open the first bracket. Write A modulo 4 is equal to 0, which specifies the number is divisible by 4. In the same way, in the same condition, we have another condition. This is AND operator. Okay, this is a logical AND. You people should be knowing operators. If it is no AND, it should not be divisible by 100, right? A mod 100 is not equal to 0. This one thing is a complete single operation, guys. It's a single condition. This both combined make one program, one logic. Okay, OR operator. They are saying that if this condition is false, I'll give another chance. If the number is divisible by 400, I'll consider this as a leap year. This is how you have to write it. See here, one bracket opens here, in which you write, you check if it is divisible by 4 and not by 100, and a separate condition is here, divisible by 400. If this is true, this becomes a leap year. Explanation is given in my previous videos. If you want in-depth explanation, you can trace it out there. Not a leap year. Not a leap year. Now let's start this. Sorry. Okay. There was semicolon. Okay. Let's start this. If you people have understood the logic, see here. The number, the fourth year, definitely the single fourth year will be a leap year if we start the calendar from 0. Oh, sorry, it's asking for 2 inputs. Yeah, I didn't remove percentage here. Okay. Now, if we enter 4, it's a leap year. Guys, if the calendar has started from 0, then first year, second year, third year, and the fourth year becomes a leap year. Whereas the 1900 year is not a leap year. And you can see clearly it's not a leap year. I'm not sure if 2012 was a leap year. Let's trace it out. Is 2012 a leap year? Yes, 2012 was a leap year, and 1900 was not a leap year. This is the simplest program that you can write, and see, with the help of conditional operator, everything is done in a single line. Everything is performed in a single line. So that's the beauty of conditional operator. So make sure you people study. And as I told, these two conditions are a single condition, and this is an individual condition. Both are sub-separate, and there is a or operator in between. Please don't get confused and write them like sing. I know a lot of people do this mistake. They write it like this. It's a wrong thing, right? It's not the same. This first thing terminates here, and the second thing starts here. Please have this in mind. Second thing starts here. What is it? Second thing starts there. First thing ends here. This is a leap year problem. Okay, and then these are the important problems from unit 1. There is nothing more in unit 1. Starting from unit 2, there are 5 programs, I believe, which are important. Let's start. The first one is find the greatest of the 3 numbers. Find the greatest of the 3 numbers. So for that, enter the numbers. The logic is very simple. If 1, 2, 3 are entered, you should print 3 as the greatest number. If 3, 4, 5 are the inputs, 5 as the greatest number. 6, 8, 7 are the inputs, 8 is the greatest number. That is what you have to find. And this problem belongs to control statements of unit 2, where you can use only if condition, where you can use if else condition, or you can go with else if ladder. So let's see what I am planning to do. I don't know how I'll do it. Percentage D, percentage D, percentage D, 3 numbers, and A, and B, and C. So let's start. If first condition, go with the assumption that A is the greatest. A is greatest. First, always start that first number is the greatest. A is greatest. If A is greatest, what should be the condition? A should be greater than B, of course, and A should also be greater than C. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, that is, the inputs are like this: 5, 4, 3. So A is the greatest. Just printf percentage D is greatest. Okay, percentage is greatest slash n, and the number is A. Done. If condition is complete. If this condition is true, what does that mean? It means that A is the greatest. I got my output. If A is not the greatest, that is, the numbers were like this, 4 and 5, which clearly shows A is not the greatest. We are done with A. We have to check only the 2 remaining numbers, 5 and 3, that is B and C. Just write else if ladder. You people will be familiar. If not, go back to control statement videos and watch it. Is B greater than C? Just check one condition, because A has already been eliminated from the competition. If this is true, printf percentage D is greatest, and definitely the given number is B. One second. Else, even if this condition is false, that is, if even B, let's say the numbers were like this, 3 and 5, 3, 5 and 2, which means that A is also not the greatest, B is also not the greatest. The last number remaining is definitely C. Directly printf C. Printf percentage D is greatest. Yeah, that's how you have to split the problem. Percentage D is greatest, and the answer is C. This completes the program. So now let's run it. I'm just trying to run it. Okay. You can see, enter the numbers 1, 2, 3. 3 is greatest. Let's run it again. Let's run it again. 3, 2, 1. You can see 3 is greatest, and the last possibility is the B is the greatest number. That is 1, 3, 2. You can see still the 3 is greatest. This logic works fine, and I'm using LCF ladder to perform this operation. Some people will write A is greater, A is greater, A is greater than B, and A is greater than C, or they will write LCF. They'll write LCF B is greater than A and B is greater than C, which is also right, but it's a time waste because since A failed, that's the reason we are coming into second condition. So checking for B A again is time waste. Just write this much. This is the simplest program to find the greatest of three numbers which can be expected in the question. And other important problem that can be expected from this unit is leap year problem again. They may ask you write a C program to check if the given year is leap year or not without specifying conditional operator. If that happens, you can perform if else operation and find out if it is a leap year or not using the same condition that I wrote in conditional operator chapter. Okay. And one more important problem that can be asked from this unit is ascending order of three numbers. Ascending order of three numbers. And that is also a simple problem. I'll just explain it fast and then we'll go to GCD, the most important. That is, if the numbers are given 3, 2, 1, you have to print it in the order 1, 2, 3. If the numbers are given in 2, 1, 3, you still have to print it in 1, 2, 3. If the numbers are given in 1, 2, 3, you have to print the answer in 1, 2, 3. This is ascending order. Starting from the lowest number to highest number, you have to print it all. And this can also be performed using simple calculation. Let's assume that A is small. First, assume that the given number is small. If that condition is true, what should be the condition? A should be less than B and also A should be less than C. If this condition is true, by default, A is the smallest. But is it done? No, there are still two more competitors, that is B and C. We have to check which one is small in B and C, right? So check again. If B is less than C. If B is less than C, one part is done, else we have one more part. So I'll explain what are these parts. See, if A is less than B, A is less than C, printf, A is the smallest, percentage D is the smallest, okay? And the second number is B is less than C, which means even B is smaller than C and C is the greatest number, A, B, A, B, C. First part is complete here. See, just one line. First part got completed. Else if printf again, A is the greatest, A is the smallest, A is the smallest. That's the reason we are inside this loop. A is the smallest, but this condition failed. This means C is the second smallest number and B. So just write like this and write in the format A, C, B. Please use your brain in A, C, B. I hope this much is clear. Now just copy paste this. I don't want to confuse the people. Just copy paste this. Put it here. Write it like this. Put it here. Write it like this. Remove the condition. Make the last part as else. Just write it as else. Come here. Else if. Come here. Else if. For first condition, we assume that A is the smallest. So second condition, assume B is the smallest. Is B less than A and B less than C, which means B is the smallest number. B has been selected. The two remaining numbers are A and C. If this happens, the smallest number is B, second smallest is A, third smallest is C, or else the smallest number is B, second smallest is second smallest is C, and the last number is A. You just have to make some small manipulations. Else, you already know C is the smallest number. Check if A is less than B. Because else part is definitely C remaining, right? For A it's done, for B it's done, C is remaining. So C is the smallest. You need not write that condition. If A is smaller than C, C, A, B, else you come here and just make a small change. C is the smallest, B and A. You can run this program. These are the three possible cases. If you draw a flow chart, this will make your life easy. So 1, 2, 3, the answer is 1, 2, 3. Yes, the ascending order is right. 3, 2, 1, the answer is 1, 2, 3. Yes, the ascending order is right. And let's say mixed fraction, 3, 1, 2, the answer is 1, 2, 3, the ascending order is right. So you just have to play with your program, then you can easily understand what you're trying to do. See here, in the first part, I checked, I'm writing this here. In first part, I checked A is the smallest. If yes, I'm checking in B and C, which is the smallest. In the second case, the first is I'm assuming B is the smallest. Then I'm checking in A and C, which is the second smallest. Where since A and B have already been checked, the last remaining number is C. I need not write the condition. The two competitors for the second position are A and B. I just checked and printed in the order CAB or CBA. This is the simplest program for you to find the ascending order of three numbers. Okay, ascending order of three numbers. After this, there are simple problems that I have uploaded in the video 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B, 3C. All your lab programs for week 1 and week 4, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 are already been updated in this YouTube channel. You can go there and learn. But one important problem that will be asked throughout your life is GCD, that I'll be doing in functions chapter. Okay, if this much is clear for you people, I can go ahead with my next unit, that is functions, which I'll be starting from tomorrow. Before I start functions, I want all of you, every one of you to be clear with all the topics of unit 1 and unit 2, especially operators, operators. First one is operators and second one is control statements and switch. And the final one is all types of loops: for loop, while loop, do loop. Master at least one loop. You should be strong at least one loop. It may be for loop, it may be while loop, it may be do while. It's your choice. I always prefer for and while for my programs. If in case you are good at do while, just go for it. But make sure you study one program. Okay, just one program. So that's it for today. Yeah, there is one more program, GCD. I'll just tell that also. Greatest common divisor. This is an important problem for unit 3. I'll explain the logic. So slow. So what is GCD? I hope you people remember GCD means highest common factor. So the logic is like this. First, understand the problem. In GCD, what happens is you will be given two numbers, say 20 and 25. Oh, there is some noise disturbance. Okay. No, I'll do it in next class. There is some noise disturbance. Okay. I'll do it in next class. Bye bye.